The Oilers get the job done 4-2 over the Seattle Kraken to kick off a 4-game road trip. Whew. How you doing, everybody? Hope you're staying warm. Tom Gazzola with you alongside Hernan Salas. Matt Kassian, our game analyst, will be by shortly to help us break down Edmonton's victory in the Emerald City. It is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Get in on the conversation. Text us. 780-218-9999. And if you're watching on YouTube, get into the nasty chat. What did you like about tonight's win? Maybe things you didn't like. Were you leery the team was going to blow that 2-goal lead again? Or did you have confidence that they would get the job done? They hung on. Yes, indeed. Edmonton improving to 24-12-3. Leon Draisaitl, give him 29 goals on the season, and you got some unlikely scores in this one, which was nice to see. Hernan Salas, get in here.
What's going on,
hey,
nasties?
Buddy.
Oh, boy. Shades of the game of yesterday, Tom. Holy smokes, eh?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, the Oilers, up until the first goal for the Kraken, like, that was an impressive game by the Oilers. They're all over them. Like, they had 7 shots on net, the Kraken did, at that point. I thought the Oilers were really good for most of 40 minutes, and then they kind of blew it a bit there. And then the third period, they were bringing it, and they missed a few. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing. Jen texted us with a screen grab, and she says, Oilers double up the what? LOL, LOL. And if you're on the YouTube channel, it says, Oilers double up the Karen 4-2. We apologize. We'll get that fixed.
We'll get that fixed
it's
ASAP.
The GCL DL Oil Stream post-game show. Nanso was so excited. He was in turbo mode like Brandon Tanev to get us going on the post-game show.
Not the Karen, the Kraken.
He'll fix that. Thank you for that, Jen. Appreciate it. We're in good spirits. Edmonton's got 3 straight wins. They've beaten the Kraken, 7 in a row total, 6 in a row in Seattle, and they continue to dominate their Pacific Division rivals. But yeah, it was a little bit of concern at times when Seattle cut the lead to 3-2. I didn't love both the goals that the Oilers allowed. Like, the first one, Kapanen just gave them a gift. Chandler Stevenson, hello. Here's a present, late Christmas gift. And he tucks it past Calvin Pickard. And then the other one, was it Dunn with the shot? Dunner, as they say on the Seattle broadcast. And it kind of flubbed because it was a broken stick shot, and Pickard tried to flick it away. Didn't really get good wood on it. Schwartz put it home. I didn't love them. I had to ask Joaquin, our resident goalie guru, about it, and he kind of broke it down and said, yeah, Pickard probably didn't know Schwartz was there, and he got handcuffed by the knuckler that came in from the broken stick.
I find that one tough.
I didn't love it still.
No, I know, but
regardless.
It's kind of an off-speed shot, right? So he's probably expecting a harder shot than that. And then you probably want a better placement of where he put the puck. But hey, hell of a play by Schwartz, though.
Yeah, and he snuck in and he tucked it, had a fraction of the net to shoot at. Tough angle. He buried it. He's a good player and has been for a long time.
But Tommy, like I said, I thought like the first 3 goals the Oilers scored they were all beautiful, like all great plays.
Yes.
The first one, Draisaitl, Podkolzin, Arvidsson connect. The second one, a beauty play by Kapanen to find Skinner all alone, and he shows his top end finish. And then the third one was my favorite. Just great plays overall. It was McDavid to Connor Brown, quickly to Nugent-Hopkins. So some nice goals. What bothers me about this game, Tom, is that, again, the Oilers let the team back in on their mistakes. Like, I get it's 3-0. I get you're on the power play. Kapanen can't make that play.
That was a terrible play.
He gives them life.
Yeah.
And look, we were talking about in the third period, Ollie, he misses Oliver Bjorkstrand.
Yeah.
He had a great look, Tom. I think Pickard got a piece of it. I truly do.
You do? You think Pickard got a
I
piece?
think it did because you see the puck kind of change direction just slightly there. And they were all over them for a bit there. They brought the Heat at 3-2, but the Oilers were able to ice it. But again, the Oilers were so good for the majority of the first 40 minutes. But again, they just let this team back in on stupid plays, Tom. That's all it is. They had 7 shots up until the first Kraken goal. All in all, like you said, 3 straight wins, good on them. They start the road trip off on the right foot. But I do think there's a lot more to like than dislike.
Tonight, for sure.
It's funny because I see I love Oiler fans because they're the best. And I just seen a bunch of stuff on the Nasty Chat. Damn, Bouchard with that stupid icing. I love that we pick up on all these things.
Yes.
I absolutely love that, man.
Oh, boy. Keep those coming in. 780-218-9999. And then get into the Nasty Chat as the Oilers pick up their 24th victory of the season. 4-2 over the Kraken to kick off a 4-game road trip. And let's get into the scoring summary. Matt Kassian will be by shortly to give his opinion and breakdown and assessment of tonight's Oilers win. The party got started 57 seconds in. This guy scores about once every 14 games, and he's in the top 6 for a reason. Vasily Podkolzin, his 4th of the year from Draisaitl and Arvidsson. That was a really nice goal. Nice pass and play there by the 3 of them on that line, and they make it 1-0 Edmonton. And then another pretty play like Hernan was talking about. Nanso, as I like to call him. At 5:18, Jeff Skinner tucks home his 7th goal of the season from Kapanen and Derek Ryan. Derek Ryan in for Corey Perry tonight. 2-0 Edmonton heading into the middle frame. And in that middle frame, it would be Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Look out. He's got a 3-game goal-scoring streak. This one was 5-on-5 as well. Also a pretty nifty play. It was started by McDavid to Kulak. Kulak to Connor Brown. Quick pass to Nugent-Hopkins in front of Grubauer, and he pots it home for his 10th. 3-0 Oilers at 11:52. But Kasperi Kapanen would make a bad play at the end of a power play where power play 2 got out there. And for some reason, Kapanen's on power play 2. He tries the spin around a backhand no-look pass to the middle. He finds Chandler Stevenson, who goes in and fires one blocker side on Calvin Pickard at 15:56 to give Seattle life. Seattle had 10 shots through 2 periods.
Yeah.
And a goal.
Yes.
Edmonton was out shooting them at that point 24-10, dominating, owning the game. In the third, at 7:27, Jaden Schwartz on that clever read by Schwartz, let's call it. Unfortunate knuckle puck on Pickard that he tries to flip away into the corner, what a goalie's supposed to do or tries to do, get it away from there, but it kind of handcuffs him, goes to Schwartz. He buries his 13th. Vince Dunn, the broken stick shot that gets to the net. Kako, the second assist. 3-2. All of a sudden, we're going, what's going on here?
Yep.
At 7:27. However, with just a minute 58 left on the clock at 18:02, Leon Draisaitl burns by 2 Kraken players, tucks his 29th goal of the season into the empty net. Arvidsson and Bouchard the assists. That would be all she wrote. The Oilers win it 4-2. Shots on goal 32-17 in favor of Edmonton. The faceoffs 56.9% to 43.1 in favor of Edmonton. Power play 0 for 1. PK 2 for 2. That's good. Hits 23 for Seattle to just 7.
For the good old Oil.
For the Oilers, coming off a night where they had 3.
Because they
block
have the
shots.
Because they have the puck.
That was a perfect game, right?
Like Dallas Aikens once told Speck.
I was around when he would talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
Scratched my head a lot when I heard that stuff. 21 block shots for Edmonton, 19 for Seattle. Turbo with a block shot on Podkolzin. He limped off, but he was okay. He was out there in his next shift. That's how tough Turbo is. Giveaways, 18 for Edmonton, 16 for Seattle. Takeaways, 6 for Seattle, 5 for Edmonton. The numbers that matter are 4 for the Oilers, 2 for the Kraken, and 2 points for the Oilers. All right.
Tommy, so
Yes.
this, I think this is back-to-back games the Oilers win without Connor getting a point.
McPointless, as someone wrote in the nasty
Pointless,
chat.
and how about our boy Jeffrey Skinner getting a shift with the top dogs there in the third period? It was good to see.
Just one.
He wasn't the lowest ice time, but Skinner, Ryan, and Mr. whom I missed, Kapanen all played under 10 minutes. The lowest was Derek Ryan, followed by Kapanen. But I thought Jeff Skinner was good in this game. Happy to see him get a shift with the big dogs. That's a good sign. The coach is saying, hey, we like what you're doing tonight.
Yes. Yep.
And then an excellent game by Podkolzin, and I thought Draisaitl. I thought that line was going good all night long. And all in all, like I said, a lot more to like than dislike in this game. Just a few little things we'll probably pick at in this 4-2 win for the Edmonton Oilers. But all in all, you got to be pretty happy. I mean, Pickard, like you said, only faced 17 shots.
Yeah.
Wasn't overly busy. But I thought the Oilers carried the play for the most of it. And just a bad no look behind the back pass by Kapanen. Kind of put Seattle back in this game. So I'll say this, and Brandon Montour, because the Big Cat left the game, right?
Big Cat was out, didn't play in the third period. That's Adam Larson.
The Big Cat missed the whole third.
If you're wondering what the hell we're talking about with these nicknames, we watched the third period on the Seattle broadcast. They use a lot of nicknames.
Yeah, it's all nicknames.
Groovy stood tall.
Ollie
Turbo missed that opportunity. Turbo blocked that shot.
Yeah, and Montour played over 13 minutes in that third period.
Monty was a busy boy.
Monty was a busy boy.
Yeah.
So Cass is in, eh? He's just snuck in. I didn't even have to bring him into Wirecast.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, he's almost
him
ready
and
to
Gage
go.
are always like they have a way
Sneak
of sneaking at a sneak attack. They're just there, you know.
That's how good they are.
I was kind of waiting for him. I was waiting for the little icon to show up, and I click on it, and he's just there. I was
There he is.
Oh,
He's ready to go in his satellite studios. Okay, we'll bring Cass in for the breakdown right away. But right now, it's the turning point of the game presented by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. At Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy, we treat you like the pros. Our multidisciplinary team includes sports medicine physicians, along with highly skilled physiotherapists, strength and conditioning coaches, and massage therapists. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance performance, we treat you like a pro using the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game. I'll go back to 11:52 of the second period. This would stand up as the game-winning goal. The Oilers get that third goal, and it ends up being vital for them. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, his 10th of the year, third in 3 games from Connor Brown and Brett Kulak. McDavid makes the play over to Kulak. McDavid absorbs the hit, and then Connor Brown with a nice feed, quick pass, quick heads up, quick hands to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who converts past Gruby. Give the Oilers a 3-0 lead at that point. They would hang on for the 4-2 victory. Nugent-Hopkins gets the GWG. That is your Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy turning point of the game, as we welcome in our game analyst, Matt Kassian, for the breakdown, brought to you by South Fort Chev. Reserve your 2025 Equinox, Trax, and Traverse now. They won't last long. They've also got 2025 Silverado Customs with payments starting as low as $199 biweekly. See dealer for details at www.southfortchev.com. Text us 780-218-9999 and get into the nasty chat. We want to hear from you. The Oilers win 4-2. Matt Kassian, what would you say about the overall performance from the Edmonton Oilers tonight?
Well, it was for as much as it almost felt like it was on the verge of slipping away again. I thought it was a good game, guys. They were up 3 goals. They were pretty dominant for most of that game. And yes, Seattle made a push on the back of some bad plays by Edmonton, or one bad play if we go to the Stevenson goal. As you guys already talked about, with pretty poor no-look pass. But guys, I thought they played a solid game. Like, it was a good game. They felt dominant. It felt the first time, and we talked about this in the pregame show, the first time since the Christmas break where they looked really good for the first 2 periods of that game. Now, a little bit of a let-off in the third. I get that, but they look pretty good, guys. I'm happy with that win.
Yeah. What did you? I mean, I'm going to ask you this question because I thought all 3 goals cast were fantastic. Which one did you like the most on the night? Because they were all beautiful setups.
Yeah. I probably like the Podkolzin one. Like, just that look by Draisaitl on that pass. Like, that was pretty. I was probably most excited for Skinner to get one. Like I was really happy for him to get one. But in terms of what I thought was the best, that Draisaitl play, through traffic moving, like I don't think people appreciate the vision and the thought you have to make that play. It was a beautiful play. They were all pretty good.
They were nice goals indeed. All right, let's go to Anthony on Long Island. Says, bank the 2 points any way you can. Pickard, 5-1 in his last 6 starts. Good night, gents, from New York. A late one for Anthony on Long Island. Thanks for staying up and texting in. Mike in Thunder Bay says, that game was all Oilers. Draisaitl is the MVP of the season so far. What a monster. And he continues his dominance over Seattle and also extends his point streak to 14 games, climbing up the Oilers' all-time points list. He has surpassed Glenn Anderson now. Cass, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. Like, listen, they played a pretty good game. Yes, they had a couple of blips that almost made it close. Do you think that it's fair for Oilers fans to be pessimistic about these last couple of wins? Because I've seen some texts in the inbox, and I've seen a little bit of stuff from the nasty chats so far, and there are those that are like, okay, good, nice win. Wasn't the prettiest, wasn't the cleanest. And then there are others who are like, geez, this is cutting it way too close. I don't like this. Win is a win mentality, but that's not good enough. How do you look at these last couple? Is there concern, or do you think things are going to be okay here?
I think that the first 2 periods today made me think things are going to be okay. It did take them some time to get their footing again. I know they squeaked through the games against Anaheim, for example, yesterday, where it's like, okay, well, a win's a win in that regard. But today, and I know, again, foot came off the gas a little bit, but they played 2 really good periods. Like, there was a lot of really good stuff they did today, and they dominated a team for 40 minutes. Now, they didn't carry it all the way through,
right? But
I'm not freaking out about that, guys. I'm not. I don't think you should either. I don't think fans should either. You should be excited that, hey, this team was really dominant, and this was the first time we have seen them since the Christmas break get back to that level. And to me, that's a positive thing. Now, the rest of the games, if we go back, there's been a lot of play that hasn't been good enough. They have said it. We have said it. Fans have said it. Everybody's seen it. There have been moments that have definitely not been good enough, today. And then I got to think, guys, like, if Stevenson doesn't get that goal off a bad turnover, it's over and done.
Yeah.
So they kind of shoot themselves in the foot with it a little bit, but I thought their play was spectacular the first 2 periods, and that kind of sates my worries and fears that I had. I wouldn't say they were strong, but the slight growing concern in the tally marks of, well, you know what, they've let teams back in, they've given up the game, they haven't done everything they needed to do. So be happy with the win, people.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna like that first 40 cast, like right up until the shorthanded goal by the Kraken, like the Oilers looked excellent.
Their passing was razor sharp.
Yep, they're crispy.
Seattle was one and done almost every time they entered the Oilers zone. Like, it was a very solid game. And again, like, I don't think Oilers fans like Cass that should be concerned, because again, it's the Oilers kind of self-inflicted the wounds themselves, right? Like, Kapanen doesn't make that play. It's good night already in that moment for the Seattle Kraken. So because yesterday we talked about it, Tom, with the Anaheim Ducks. Like, it's not that the Oilers played bad. It's just they couldn't find that next goal. Tonight, it was the same thing. Like,
yeah, it kind of was.
Like the Oilers got a power play, and you're thinking, okay, here's the 4th goal, and they got some good looks, and it just didn't happen. And then unfortunate play by Kapanen leads to that. But it's not like Seattle took over the game and went after the Oilers.
No.
It was more just the Oilers kind of, one bad play, but they were fine. Like, even in the third, when Seattle was coming, sure, there's some good looks from Bjorkstrand and all that, but the Oilers, I thought, were in control for most of the night.
Cass, before we get into, I know, right, Nugent-Hopkins, we have clips from him following the game. It is the breakdown from, or brought to you by South Fort Chev with Matt Kassian. Before we get into the Nugent-Hopkins interview, I want to ask you this. The hit total, we talked about them only having a handful of hits last night. They have 7 officially tonight, and we do acknowledge that it is different building to building. But is the whole, I know it's a bit of a joke and we say it sarcastically, the perfect game, you don't have any hits because you have the puck all night. Can we even say that? Like, do they need to be more physical? I'd like to see them get a little bit rougher with teams. How do you look at it?
Yeah, at times I would like them to be more rough with teams. On my trade deadline wish list, top is a top 4 right defenseman, and second to that is a depth guy that just brings a really nasty physical element to the game. I mean, that would be great to have. And realistically, if you had a top 4 right D, I would want it to be someone that was a bruising top 4 right D, that was played with an edge and played nasty and brought some of that physicality. But there is truth to this statement, because when you have the puck, you just hit less, and they dominated possession the first 2 periods. So I get in a game like the game against Anaheim, where it's a legitimate thing to say, hey, they needed a spark plug. They needed someone to we always would call them a dog. We needed someone to be a dog, to go out there and to pull everyone into the fight, right? Like the game against Anaheim, they needed that. Because they weren't there. The intensity wasn't there. The energy wasn't there. Tonight, that wasn't an issue. So I know it's different buildings, and I know you're looking at the hit totals and you're like, oh, that's 2 games in a row. They didn't really hit anything. But tonight they had the puck the whole time, so I don't worry about it. I do still think it would be nice to add some of that physicality in the bottom 6. But that's more for the games like Anaheim. Today, who cares? Because they had the puck. And I know it's like people going to blow up that Eakins statement. I get it, but he's not wrong, right? Because you do have the puck the entire time, right? And then you don't have to hit anybody if you have the puck the whole game.
Do you guys want to guess the 2 forwards that had hits for the Oilers?
Podkolzin.
Correct.
And I'm just going to throw this dart at the board. Derek Ryan.
No. Cass?
I was going to say Podkolzin, and I was going to go Janmark, but no.
It's Podkolzin and Jeff Skinner.
No way.
There you go. Skinner. Yeah, bring the physicality.
No wonder you got to look with McDavid and Draisaitl. He hit somebody.
He threw a hit.
Yeah, and scored. He scored an absolutely brilliant
Real nice
goal.
goal.
Really quickly, Stanley in YYC Texan says, it wasn't as difficult as last night, but still nerve-wracking. Got to stop letting teams get life in the game. Good to see 53 get one. That's Skinner, obviously. Hopefully it kickstarts him. Noticed he got some time with 97 and 29. That's Stanley back in YYC. I'm going to read Shaggy's breakdown really quickly. I feel like we know where this is going, but I haven't read it all, so I'm going to read it live for the first time. Shaggy in St. Albert says, the continuing trend of a win is a win, but these bad habits eventually turn into losses. Oilers, once again, cannot put an inferior team away. Kraken had no business being in this game. This game should have been over after the first. Don't blame Pickard on either goal. Neither do I. Do blame Oilers for not finishing their chances on the numerous Kraken mistakes. Oilers, also a soft team. Have they ever out-hit an opponent? Positives from this game. Podkolzin and the other Skinners scored much-needed goals, and they finally scored the empty net goal, which is rare. That's from Shaggy in St. Albert. All right. Any follow-up to that, boys? Cass, Hernan, or would we go right into Ryan Nugent-Hopkins here?
Yeah, it kind of seemed a little over-pessimistic to me. Shaggy, we love you.
Critical.
He's a little critical. But it's just a little too pessimistic for me.
Yeah, it's like to say that. What was the initial part of his text? That the
win is a win trend. Bad habits eventually turn into losses.
But it was one player with a bad habit. It wasn't the whole team. Like, seriously,
and they didn't completely fall apart after that either.
No, they settled down. Even at 3-2, they look calm. And I know people are complaining about Bouchard's icing late, but hey, those things happen. Just watch the other top teams, and they make mistakes as well. So it's not just the Oilers.
Now, to those bringing up that icing that Bouchard took, you and I were watching in the studio in the bullpen, and we're like, ugh.
Yeah. So I think I said, "Damn it, Bouchard!"
I was like, "That was."
Because it was a rocket pass, like
right to the corner of the other end. It was a rocket. Okay, let's go to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins following Edmonton's 4-2 victory in Seattle tonight.
That your group started tonight, and then were able to maintain that throughout the game.
Yeah, I mean, definitely something that we talk about. We want to keep working on, we want to keep getting better at, but tonight we did a fairly good job. I still think we can keep the pedal down a little bit more last 2 nights, but teams are going to push, and you got to find ways to battle back, and we did that tonight.
The Kraken came within 1, but you guys held them to 10 shots in just 2 periods. So what does that say about defensively, what you guys are honing in on?
Yeah, I think did a lot of good things defensively. We knew coming in too that they put a lot on net, so to keep them at 10 through 2 shows a lot of good signs. And obviously when he had to, Picks made some good ones for us too. So overall, I mean, a solid 60, and got to keep it rolling now.
Where's your confidence level at right now? Goals in 3 straight, 4 of the last 5, and you're also racking up the points in the second half of the season.
I mean, I'm just trying to trust the process, and obviously it doesn't always happen for you. So you got to just trust it, try to do the right things, and rely on the habits. And obviously, I'm taking advantage of some really nice plays by other guys too.
What about Connor Brown? What do you think of him on the top line with you and Connor right now?
Yeah, I mean, he's stepped in and done a great job. Obviously, a guy who can make plays in tight areas, and he sees the ice really well. So I think he's done a great job, and he's a guy that you can kind of put anywhere in the lineup, and he's going to go out there and do a job.
When you look at Leon Draisaitl's career, there's a lot of highlights there, but can you argue that this is arguably one of the most effective stretches he's ever had in his career?
Yeah, he's a guy that we always rely on in many different aspects, but I mean, he just keeps getting better and better, so it's fun to see. And like I said, we lean on him, and he's definitely putting it all out there right now.
From your perspective, how did your goal happen tonight?
I think Connor just kind of pushed him back with some speed and gave it back to Cooley. And when you can kind of get an up-down little play, sometimes there's some separation. And I was a little tight to Brownie there, but he made a nice play to put it in my wheelhouse and just try to get it off quick.
Was it a little awkward of a play because he is so close to you there, but you come to a complete stop? Why did you decide to stop there?
Yeah, I got a little too tight. I kind of went in between wanting to drive the backside for him or just stop in that slot for him. And I think ideally you want to stop a little bit, give him a little more space, but obviously it worked out.
There you go. There's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins picking up his 10th goal of the season. He's got goals in 3 straight and 22 points now through 39 games for the Nuge, or pardon me, 38 games for Nugent-Hopkins. Cass, he acknowledged there that they didn't keep the pedal to the metal. Just him noting that. I think at least they understand or comprehend that maybe they should separate a little bit more.
Well, they had separation though, so I get the comment and I get where he said that, but they had the separation and they just kind of handed it back, and so it's like you took the pedal off the gas a little bit, and then the other team raised their game. They went from being defeated, you score a goal early on them, you're up 2, you're up 3, and then you kind of let them inch back into it a little bit. So I get the comment, but to me, it's just the critical part of the game to me still was the start where they came out of the gate. The critical part was still the first 2 periods where they didn't give up many shots and they extended their lead quite significantly to where it was ultimately insurmountable by the Seattle Kraken. So I get where he's throwing that comment out and that he recognizes it, but it's not the story of the game to me. I mean, it wasn't. They didn't have to win in overtime in this one. Now, if Seattle would have tied it, they would have went to overtime. Different conversation, even if they win it then. But they were able to separate again. Draisaitl with another empty netter to pad his goal scoring lead right now in the league.
29 on the season for number 29, having a tremendous season. The Liquid Beaver texting in saying, I liked the first 2 periods. Really liked how they got traffic at the net. My concern is their lack of finish. They create so many quality chances. Just snake bitten right now. They got 4, 3 on Grubauer. Grubauer did make some big saves, and he's a guy that's had an up and down season so far, but did make some good stops on some good Oilers chances. All right, keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999, and via the Nasty Chat, of course. We roll along here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream postgame show. It's the breakdown brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet with our game analyst Matt Kassian, Tom Gazzola, and Hernan Salas with you as well. Let's go back inside the Oilers locker room in Seattle and hear from one of the goal scorers and one of the 2 Oiler forwards to have a hit tonight, Jeff Skinner.
The victory, what it took from your club to come out on top against that Kraken squad that was pushing there.
Yeah, I think we got off to a good start. Obviously, playing the night before, it's nice when you can sort of roll into the game and get off to a good start in the first period. And then, I thought it was a pretty solid game. I thought penalty kill was good when we needed it. Picks made some big saves for us. especially when they came with the push, like you said. So, it's a good solid win.
How do you kind of assess the details after that loss in Anaheim? Because that seemed to be the commonality post-game that the Diesels were going to take care of. How do you feel like your team's responded in 3 games since?
Yeah, we've been good. I think we've gotten good results. So, it's going to be tough. I think it's a tough league. I think when we lost to Anaheim, they were playing really well, obviously, and then again a good test for us again when they came back in our building a couple of days later. So, I think we've had some pretty solid games. I think we want to keep working on the good things in our game and keep trying to keep this thing rolling.
For you personally, how do you kind of like the last couple of games you've had, including that goal here today?
Yeah, it's nice play by DR and Cappy. But yeah, I think the last couple of games, the line's been playing pretty well, and obviously it's been kind of a couple guys here and there kind of rotating through, but I think there's a lot of depth, a lot of good players, and sort of wherever you're playing, there's going to be guys that are making plays, and as a result, had some good results the last couple games, so hopefully we can keep that going.
When you're on the second of back-to-backs, how big of a help is it to get a start like that where you guys are immediately out 2-0?
It's nice. I think, anytime, especially on the road, I think when you can get out to a good start or get a lead early, I think it's a good feeling to settle into the game. And obviously, I think when you got some legs, I think from the night before, it's nice to try and use that to your advantage. Because eventually they're going to come with a push, and they did, and you just have to try and sustain it.
All right, there's Jeff Skinner. He scored his 7th goal of the season, played .922, had a couple of shots, had a hit, like we joked about, but he is one of 2 forwards to actually register a hit tonight. Podkolzin had a couple of them. Cass, he's saying the right things. He's a veteran. He's been in this league for over 1,000 games and like 14 years now. But listening to him, seeing him, his body language, what kind of sense do you get from Jeff Skinner after a night like tonight?
Well, it was a really colorful interview. Lots going on there.
Yeah.
He tried to play politic there. And just keep it as simple. Listen, it's got to feel good to score that goal. Got to feel good, even if it was just one shift, to get one shift with the big boys. Hard to really pull much from a body language standpoint, but I still see a guy that's just trying to find his way here. He's trying to say the right things, trying to do the right things, hasn't completely got there yet. But hey, maybe tonight, guys, is the night that turns the tide. Maybe it is for Jeff Skinner. That would be great. He's a big hitter now. So yeah, maybe tonight's the night.
A new element to his game, 14 seasons in. Jeff Skinner with 1 hit tonight and a goal. A really nice one, too. The depth scoring, because I saw Conroe, Texas, text in say, hey, Conroe, Texas says, Oil Stream whipping, boys. On fire to start that game. And Podkolzin scored in the first shift. That was a nice goal. Kapanen and Derek Ryan get in on the Skinner goal. That was a nice play, too. And then, obviously, Nugent-Hopkins, he's been playing better lately, getting points 5-on-5, but more so towards the start. Getting that 4th-line goal has to be a bit of a boost as well, right?
Yeah, well, we talked before the game about not the depth of the Seattle Kraken, but how they are pretty spread out from who contributes offensive.
Did we lose Cass? He's frozen. He's frozen. We'll get Cass back. He'll reconnect with us. All right, keep those texts coming in. 780-218-9999. The Oilers with the 4-2 win over the Seattle Kraken. The Oilers now at 51 points on the season. They've got a 3-game heater going, and they're 7-2-1 in their last 10. Just a quick out-of-town scoreboard update. LA 1-2-1 over Tampa. They're also at 51 points through 38 games, 1 less game than the Oilers have played. The Golden Knights now at 57 points. They won again tonight. That one, 3-1 final over Buffalo, so no real shock there. Still leading the charge in the Pacific at 57 points. Cass, if you want to finish up your thought there.
Well, I have no idea where I cut out. It was somewhere along the lines there. But hey, good to get depth scoring. Well,
Yes.
just sum it up with that. Good to get depth scoring.
Yes.
Hey, Cass, you called Skinner too in the pregame
he
show.
did.
I did, yeah. If he was the guy I wanted to score, that's why I was so excited. I was like, I was hoping he would score tonight.
I'm going to
good.
need 6 lotto numbers, Cass. Please and thank you. Just send them to me discreetly.
All right.
I'll float this one to you from Jordan, who says, what are your thoughts on the nuclear option, even with the lead? Because I think we saw it a bit in that third period, especially in the last 10 minutes.
Well, 10 minutes left in the game, you're going to rely more heavily on those guys. I mean, they're two of the best players in the world. If they have gas, their energy levels are okay. You're going to lean on them a little bit more. So it's not shocking that you would do that and try to stack a lineup that you're going to double shift. So, I mean, to me, that just makes sense. It's a lot different than starting a game with it and having to go to it early, going to it to protect the lead late, to ensure a victory. Sure, I'm all for it.
All right, Cass. The Oilers kick off this 4-game road trip with the win in Seattle tonight. They go to Boston. They'll actually stay in Seattle tonight, and they will fly to Boston tomorrow. Otherwise, they're getting in at like 5 in the morning if they were to fly directly right now. So they will stay in Seattle tonight, fly tomorrow to Boston. They don't play until Tuesday. They get the Bruins. They get the Penguins on Thursday. They wrap up the road trip in Chicago next Saturday, and then they come home for that big game against LA. It's 9 games in 9 different cities. We know that's going to be something we hear and discuss a lot about in the next week and a half. But when they look ahead to this Boston Bruins game, what do you think the focus will be for the team, and what should the approach be?
Well, the focus is going to be on building on the first 2 periods of the game tonight. I mean, the focus is going to be, maybe first on the Boston Bruins. And they're going to say this. They're going to talk very much about how it's just going to be a game at a time. Yeah, 9 different cities, 9 different teams. But they're going to talk about the game at a time and sticking to their process and say all the right things. I think heading into this game against the Boston Bruins in particular, I think your focus is going to be on dealing with a team that has high tempo, high aggression, that pressures your defense. Because if we've seen them struggle this year, generally that has been when they have struggled. They're struggled the most anyway. So they're, from a team standpoint, you're not looking at the length of time, or you're trying not to. You're trying not to talk about it. You're really just looking at, okay, we're going to be on the road a little bit here. Going to have a night in Seattle, go get some seafood, go get some coffee in the morning, whatever it is. They might skate. I'm not sure if they skate before they leave. Whatever, doesn't matter. But you're gonna have a night here. Gonna get on the road again, but your focus is gonna shift to the Boston Bruins. And again, dealing with that aggressive forecheck that they have, they're gonna break it down, Tom, and look at it game by game. They're gonna try to do that anyways. But moving forward, what would we like to see? What would I like to see? I would like to see them still play a complete game. And I know they were getting there tonight, and I know they made some mistakes, but I still think it was a good game to build on, where you had some dominance in the game. They were playing at their tempo that we liked to see them play at. And yes, they didn't carry it all the way through, but at least we saw it again, and they were back to that. So want to see more of that.
Oh, did he cut out?
Yeah. No, way to go, Cass. Way to go, Cass. Jiggle the cord, Cass. That is the breakdown with our game analyst, Matt Kassian. He put in a good shift tonight. So
he did. You're good to go, Cass.
He's good to go. He's good to go. The Bruins, by the way, just if you're wondering, they've dropped their last 3. They did lose tonight to Toronto. They are at home against the Islanders tomorrow, and then they'll face the Oilers on Tuesday night. So that's where the Bruins are at right now, sitting 3rd in the Atlantic at 20-17-4. That's 44 points. And in their last 10, a 5-4-1 record. And they've dropped 3 in a row, taking on the Isles tomorrow night. All right, Nan. So what do you want to?
You read Jay Styles' text, right?
I did not read Jay
He
Styles'
says,
text.
everyone's all over Skinner, yet he has twice as many goals and same amount of points as Podkolzin playing with worse players.
I've heard that.
Oh, I wonder who else
somewhere.
has been saying that. Oh,
I feel like it was on this station during some of the shows. Jay Styles, excellent point.
Yeah, and the Oilers get by the Karens, as Hernan put in the title to start the show, instead of the Kraken.
You did that on purpose.
I don't know.
Sharp eye by Jen on that one.
Yeah,
that was funny.
Jen,
I laughed.
Thank you for the heads up.
Yes.
It still would have been up, and everybody would have been mocking good old Hernan, but I
Yeah.
apologize. I always double check my work, but I don't know. It's Saturday night.
Do you? Did you?
I had about 30 Sour Patch Kids. So
They were great. They were great. Okay, keep those texts coming in. I've got a bunch more that I want to read. We'll take a look ahead to the Boston Bruins, but we do need to get to the Damon Bunting Real Estate Player of the Game, brought to you by our good friend Damon Bunting, who's a consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area and has been for over 17 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. He's community-driven, understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. So check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate, now part of the agency. Hernan.
Oh, boy. I might take some heat for this one, but this guy's been in the doghouse. He hasn't played a lot. But today, and he didn't play a lot again tonight, but he got a shift with the big boys. That's a good sign from the coaches saying, hey, you've earned it. He scored a beautiful goal. One of only 2 forwards who had a hit, and he's never been a player of the game up until this point. Why not? Let's go with Jeff Skinner on the night. 1 goal, 9:22 ice time, 2 shots on net, and 1 hit.
We're acknowledging a good night from Jeff Skinner.
Yes.
Which have been few and far between, unfortunately. We'll remind people, he started the season as one of the Oilers' better forwards.
Yes.
Okay, when they kind of stumbled out of the gate to a certain extent, obviously nowhere near as bad as last season, and then kind of tapered off a bit. Then he had a few okay games, got 1 look with McDavid. It only lasted the 1 game, and then he ended up in the doghouse, and then he was a healthy scratch a couple games ago. He's back in the lineup, and tonight he scores a nice goal. So we're recognizing and acknowledging a good night for Jeff Skinner, and one of just 2 forwards to have a hit tonight.
Yes.
In Seattle for Edmonton.
And Quaddy on the Nasty Chat says he also has the worst plus-minus. He does not. That's Kasperi Kapanen. So
Where's Kapanen at right now?
minus 12.
On the season?
Yeah, Jeff Skinner's minus 10. That might go up 1, though.
Well, let's take a look at that stat line
because
really quickly. Oh, there, NHL.com switched it. They always do this. They always mess with the game stats while we're on the post-game show. I had the lineup. I had the game stats. It's gone blank since it updated. They're obviously going through it again.
Troll says, to be fair, Hernan, Seattle's pretty much a city full of Karens.
I've got to have like a button here for an applause or something.
That was a little embarrassing.
That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny.
No, but all in all, I thought Cass, we're always going to pick at certain things, but the Oilers were really good on the night. In the third period, I don't think it was all Seattle in the third period. I thought the Oilers had some pushback as well, and they were able to hold down the fort. Pickard picks up another win. I know he wasn't tested a lot, but he made some solid saves. And Grubauer, I'll say this, Tom, after the 3-0 goal, he was pretty sharp. He made some huge saves.
Tight saves. Yeah, I'm looking on the board. The boys have this programmed. I'm not going to mess around with it, but I thought we had some applause. But you're right. Grubauer did make some good saves. Let's get to some texts here because we've been rolling along. It's been a good show. A lot of people watching, a lot probably listening as well. Mike from Calgary chiming in says a dub is a dub, and we'll take it on a back-to-back. Cheers, boys. That's a good reminder, too. Back-to-back with travel. They pick up 4 points and totally redeemed themselves for last weekend where they picked up 1 out of a possible 4 and blew that game in Anaheim. That was not particularly good in front of their poor mothers.
Oh, that made me angry.
That made me angry, too. Do it for mom.
Do it for mom. And you know what I'm excited about? Leon Draisaitl, like the heater here. Like everybody's going to be watching now. He's tied his career high 14.
Correct.
He can surpass it on Tuesday night in Boston. It'll be great if let's see how long he can take this. I mean, we're seeing the great Ovechkin, 22 behind Wayne Gretzky after another goal today. Like we're just seeing so much greatness. Like Ovechkin's old school, Leon Draisaitl's kind of that mid-tier now superstar because he's
a superstar.
No, but I mean, like in terms of age, like
where he's at, he's going into his prime, kind of entering it right now.
the young bucks that are coming up as well.
Gotcha.
Right? The league is full of stars right now, which is awesome.
Some great talent. Macklin Celebrini's goal today, set up by Will Smith, a thing of beauty if you didn't see it against New Jersey. Cody Ceci, the game winner against the Devils for the Sharks.
Those two are going to be fun in San Jose, man.
Celebrini is winning my heart over right now. I enjoy watching him, and now I'm watching Will Smith.
It's weird saying Will Smith.
I know. Has Will Smith not won the last 3 World Series as well?
Yeah.
That's Fresh Prince.
A very common name.
It's Fresh Prince right there. Coach Mike texting in says, Knobloch stayed away from 29 and 97 on the same line for the most part.
Yeah, he did.
Quick start definitely helped that. Second night of a back-to-back, bank the 2 points, move on. That's from Coach Mike. Bronx the Boilermaker says, guys, I am sick of hearing complaints when winning. At the end of the year, 2 points is 2 points. Would you like to cancel these wins? Could you give $1 million and you would complain? Could give you $1 million and you would complain. Pardon me, Bronx the Boilermaker. Yes, we know that not everyone is always pleased. We know that there are people that have constructive criticisms for the team, even when it wins. And I think, for the most part, I feel like you and I have been doing this long enough together with Cass that we can play off of that, whether we humor it, whether we mock it, whether we kind of agree with it at times. But you know what? And Bronx has been along for the ride for a long time. I think Bronx goes back to our 1260 days. You know you're not going to appease everybody.
No, because I'm never gonna sit here and tell people how to be fans. You know, you got the passionate fans, Tommy, that just nothing can. No, I should say all our fans are passionate, but they're the ones that find nothing wrong with the team, no matter what. They're the ones that are overly negative. They're the ones that are kind of live and die with the result. And that's fine. I think I've been every kind of fan at one moment in my life. So we're not here to tell you how to be a fan, but yeah, you're going to have people that are not happy with the Oilers' last 2 wins because they're teams that they think should be blown out. Sure, and I understand. There's other people that say, just take it. It's a win, man. It's 2 points. That's all that matters, and I understand that one as well. So it's a safe space here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream postgame show. You can be any kind of fan you want, and we're always going to go everywhere because we're the same way as the host, Tom. We're honest.
Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I enjoy all the perspectives. If it gets stupid, and we see some extreme on both ends at times, and I think we try to chop those off and try to stay in the middle as much as possible, unless we want to kind of poke and pry and get people going. But yeah, you're not going to always please them. And to those who are constructive with their criticism about the team, about these wins, I understand, and I think I can't speak for all those fans, but I feel like their hope and ambition for this team, obviously at the end of the day, is a Stanley Cup, but they want to see, as this 82-game season progresses, this team slowly build itself into a fine-tuned machine.
Exactly. They're not all going to be Picassos here for the Edmonton Oilers, but they're playing extremely well.
Sometimes you get a Gazzola. It's a stick figure, but it gets the job done, and you get a passing grade.
I was not expecting that. That was good. He made me laugh.
Oh, thank you.
I just lost my train of thought. That was pretty funny.
Taco says, fittingly, Taco's like, you're not an Oilers fan if you're not mad after win. These fans need to start taking lessons from Chill Guy.
Yeah, I'm not be the fan, whichever fan you want. It's all good, man. I love the fan that's just, in here it's so much passion, Tom. And look at our nasty chat. It's just awesome.
Colin says, on the note of, this is via the nasty chat from Colin, on the note of being every kind of fan, don't guys think we might need one more injection of offensive prowess at the deadline? Yes, Kane will be a great ad who can score, but maybe one more shooter. Yeah, maybe, Colin. And I saw Norman at Combine asking for a Kane update. I was told yesterday that nobody really knows his timeline. When he's going to come back. Is it going to be earlier? Is it going to be later? Is it going to be by playoffs?
Is there a possibility he doesn't play?
Yes.
Wow.
No one knows where he's at right now.
That'd be a big loss.
Not like physically where he's at, but just like where his progression is.
Yeah. That's
to really narrow it down. That's what I was told yesterday.
That's interesting.
When I was at the rink.
And to the texter, if he sent that in on the nasty chat,
Colin.
Colin. I think they have the shooters. Skinner's one. I think Arvidsson could be one.
If Kane does come back, absolutely he is one.
I think what you need is a physical two-way guy that can play maybe from your second to your fourth line, and it won't affect his game. You know what I mean? If he needs to moonlight in the second line for a bit, sure, but he's better suited for the third line. I think that's the kind of guy you need, a guy with some size, because listen, and it's true. Like when you have the puck a lot, you're not going to throw a lot of hits, but it is a little bit concerning, this team's lack of hit totals and physicality. And sometimes, sure, I mean, you look at those Detroit Red Wings teams, they didn't have a lot. Well, they had Darren McCarty and a few bruisers.
Oh, yeah, that's some big bodies there. Brendan Shanahan is a beast.
And again, I'd have to go back and see how much they hit as well, because they always had the puck because they're a fantastic team and very offensive. So I do want a physical guy. I'm not saying I want a guy that fights, Tom. I want a guy that can play the game but can like ruffle a few feathers as well.
Yeah, don't suggest Rempe, anybody. That's a joke. That's a joke. All right, let's get to a few more texts here as we roll along on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Edmonton 4-2 winners over the Seattle Kraken. They had a 5-game winning streak in Seattle. They've extended that to 6. 7 overall versus the Kraken. They have dominated this series since the Kraken have come into the league. Edmonton now 10-2 versus their Pacific Division rivals from Seattle. The Oilers will carry a 3-game winning streak into Boston after totally redeeming themselves following last week's tough go in LA and Anaheim. So trying to pick up some slack and make up ground on the Vegas Golden Knights. The Golden Knights picking up a win over Buffalo, and LA also winners over Tampa. So Edmonton and LA tied at 51 points. The Golden Knights at 57. The Kings have a 4-game winning streak going. The Oilers, like I said, a 3-gamer. And then the Golden Knights have put together back-to-back wins. They had that loss to Montreal where they blew a 2-goal lead. You want to talk about blowing a lead? How about the Habs on fire right now? They won again.
They're on fuego, man. Good for them. Young team. I still... they're in that part of their rebuild where it's a lot of tough times, but lately they're on a bit of a heater, like you said, and it's good on them, but I still don't think they make a push.
No, 7-3 in their last 10. They are 1 point back of a playoff spot.
Wow. Is that?
Yeah.
39. Yeah, you're right. Holy smokes.
1 point back of the Sens. Wait a second. My goodness.
The Eastern Conference wildcard is 9 points from the top wildcard spot to the Buffalo Sabres at last.
Wow.
That's not too bad, man. That means it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it will be. Other Pacific Division scores to pass along your way. Calgary loses 4-1 to Nashville. Nashville's just gone and disrupted Vancouver and Calgary the last 2 nights. You got to appreciate that if you're an Oiler fan. And then just looking elsewhere in the Pacific, San Jose with that win, and then the Oilers obviously picking up a victory over the Kraken. So there you go. There's your out-of-town scoreboard update in regard to the Pacific Division. A few more texts to get to. We got a lot of texts tonight. People staying in tonight. It's kind of the end of the holiday season. Like walking around downtown, I know there was an Oil Kings game today, and it looked like there was going to be a good crowd there when I was leaving to come here. But yeah, not a usual weekend, even though it's chillier out there. Not a usual type weekend out there.
Well, vacation's over for everybody.
That's right.
Kids, people that had up until the 6th off.
Yeah, lucky.
Yeah, it's great, but it's all back to normal on Monday, Tommy.
I'm kind of ready for it. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. Jeffrey Taylor says, does Hernan expect the Oilers to get a shutout every game? I don't get why.
No.
I don't. But why would that be a question for me? Like, what did I say?
I don't know. No, you're pretty.
No. If I did say something wrong, please let me know, Jeffrey. But I don't expect the Oilers to get a shutout every game. But I don't know what I said that would lead to that comment. So I'm confused.
Here's an interesting thought from Beer Leaguer Brad. Says, what were the Oilers' hit totals in the playoffs last year? Maybe they have learned to save some fuel in the tank during the regular season and have extra for a long playoff run. What do you think of that rationale?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think I brought it up yesterday where I thought we've seen Connor be physical, Tom, and he's kind of dialed it back a bit. And yeah, we'll see. Dial it back during the regular season because you're in a good spot. Sure. Yeah. And we saw it last year. It's a grind, Tom. I mean, we weren't even playing and we were tired. Imagine these poor players that are out there battling. Their good old playoff lives on the line every day. So it's tough. But yeah, I can see that. I think a lot of players are going to dial it back. I think if the Oilers are in a good spot in the last 5 games of the season, I think you're going to see a lot of these guys because now they know.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, I'm good sitting out for 2-3 games. And I think that's the right way to go about it.
What if a guy's chasing down a Rocket Richard trophy?
I think it's up to the player.
It is up to those guys. They have total
Like we're talking about
autonomy
Saquon
on when they
Barkley
play.
situation, right? Like you can tell he wanted to, and it's a really tough call, Tom, because you saw today Flowers got hurt for the Ravens in a game that didn't really mean much for them, and they might miss him for the playoffs. You don't want that to happen with Barkley.
No.
But you can only break these records. You only get this opportunity probably once in your career, so it's tough. So I if it's Leon Draisaitl, if that's who you're alluding to, I think it's him and Chris Knobloch having a conversation saying, hey, it's up to you.
That's usually how it goes, especially with those guys.
But most of these guys put the team first, right?
Yeah, they do. That is fair. And, I mean, they've kind of won everything personally.
Yeah, of course.
You know, they've won those individual trophies, I should say.
They've done it, for the most part, all outside of winning.
Yeah, and you can tell, and just kind of being around them and talking to them, especially the last couple of years, the mentality has shifted to it's time to win that big trophy, the one that everybody wants. So, we'll see. I mean, when we get to that point in the season, depending on health and things like that, we'll figure out, where we're at. A lot can happen. There's a lot of hockey left to be played. We're just approaching the midway point of the season here.
It's crazy.
Plus, we have a 2-week or week and a half long break
for the Four Nations.
For the Four Nations face-off, which I only saw a few commercials for tonight. I'm just saying. A couple of texts via the nasty chat says, and this is Jason, who says, hard to get hits when you don't have the puck. Oilers' puck possession is near the top of the league. Colin wants to see them run a few hitting gauntlets in practice pre-playoffs, if that's the mindset, or perhaps just a few nights out with Kaner. Oh, boy. Jeez. Free Beer says, don't forget Boston ripped up the league a couple of years ago, got bounced early in the playoffs because they blew their energy during the season and didn't have anything in the playoffs. And that's when Florida got them on their run to the Stanley Cup final, where they lost to the Golden Knights, learned that lesson. Then they go up against Edmonton in the Cup final and beat Edmonton in 7 last year. Simple 101 in regard to Quaddy says, it's frustrating to watch at times like tonight when the Oilers are buzzing and can't go in for the kill shot. Obviously, there's a lot of potential, but the lines aren't set as far as I can tell. The lines are definitely not set.
No.
There's so much change and movement game to game.
I think when it's all said and done, though, it's going to be Hyman with McDavid, Podkolzin with Draisaitl, and then you're going to go back to your old reliable third line of Janmark, Enrique, and Connor Brown. And then we might get a Noah Philp call up here. He might be
it could happen.
Regular, right?
Yeah.
Evander Kane's status is also a big one because if he's back, for me, if Evander Kane's back, he has to be in your top 6. Plain and simple.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to happen, though.
No, it might not.
Because there's an attachment to Podkolzin. And I don't know if you're bumping Nugent-Hopkins out of there on the left side.
I'll tell you this. In the playoffs, Podkolzin can't go 14 games without producing or scoring a goal.
Yeah.
Seriously.
No, I'm with you.
You can get away with it now. And listen, he was awesome tonight. I thought he was
very good.
He was really good. Beautiful goal. He was engaged. He broke up an excellent chance. Was it him? Yeah,
he did. He got on Schwartz's stick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, if I'm comparing Podkolzin to Kane, for me, it's Kane every time in the top 6, man. And it's not. And Podkolzin can easily play in your bottom 6, easily.
Yeah. Or you can sprinkle him in there in the top 6 for a few shifts if you want to throw a different look out there. I mean, the way Chris Knobloch tap dances with his lines, by the time we get to the playoffs,
who knows? And they might.
These guys should be used to it by then.
And they might add a guy.
They might.
And they're going to add a defenseman.
Yeah.
Of the caliber, I don't know yet. I don't think any of us know.
No. They're casting a wide net.
A wide net for a defense.
Let's get to this one from RBM and then one from Stu and then some final thoughts and we'll say goodnight. RBM texts in saying, I agree. The Oilers need a jerk or two, even if Kane is back in the lineup. Florida had plenty last year and it works for playoff hockey. Sam Bennett drives me nuts with his borderline hits, but he knows exactly where to play that line. Bigger, faster guys who can play but also be tough to play against as well for the bottom six. RBM, that's a great point. And I side with you wholeheartedly on that one. And then Stu says, I would like to see a physical response to the hit on McDavid. Also, Trent Frederick from Boston would be great. Not sure they would let him go, though.
He'd be amazing, but Boston is in a playoff spot.
Yeah, they're in there right now. Well, we'll get a good look at Trent Frederick on Tuesday.
He can play, and he's
tough as nails, man.
He's tough as nails, man.
The Oilers face the Bruins Tuesday. The Bruins take on the Islanders tomorrow. Edmonton with a 3-game winning streak, riding into that second game of this 4-game road trip in Boston. That game goes at 5 o'clock our time. We'll be on the air at 4 p.m. for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Nanso, myself, and I think it is Sean Bell in for Cass, that one. He'll be our game analyst. That'll be right in the middle of the Reed Wilkins show, and then we'll cut back to the Reed Wilkins show on Tuesday. Any final thoughts from you, Nanso?
No, another 2 points for the good old Oil here. Draisaitl remains on an absolute heater. Hopefully he can take this as, I want to see him hit 20 at least, so hopefully he can, knock on wood. But we're back Tuesday. Boston should be a good one, Tommy.
That's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Edmonton now up to 51 points through 39 games. 24-12-3 is their record. 7-2-1 in the last 10. Winners of 3 in a row. They will look to extend it on Tuesday in Boston as the road trip continues. 9 games in 9 different cities. A big thank you to everybody who listened on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, EdmontonSportsTalk.com's audio player, and of course to all of you who watched tonight on YouTube. Thanks for letting us be a part of your Saturday night. You know we love you. We know we appreciate you. For Hernan Salas and Matt Kassian, I'm Tom Gazzola saying enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you on Monday.